So I had been having some shortness of breath. Being pregnant for the first time, you don't know what's normal. And then we get in there and they take my blood pressure and it was, I don't know, honey, it was like
180 over 110.
Yeah.
And that's when they told us, hey, you're going to have to go over to the hospital and get checked out. And at that time, we still didn't have any idea that she would be here. And they were saying, you're probably going to be here till delivery.
At that point, I'm high risk. So they took over and I was in there for,
I want to say almost 2 weeks, week and a half.
Yeah.
2 weeks. And then we ended up having Madeline.
These families are dealing with stresses that we can't even imagine. And these babies can be so incredibly sick. Maddie was also a premature baby who had a lot of respiratory issues. And if I remember correctly, she had chest tubes and she had procedures and she had so many hurdles stacked against her. Through all of it, her family was incredible, and really there at the bedside with us. And we knew she was going to end up in really good hands when she was ready to go home. And that's what makes all of this worthwhile.
Dr. Annie, all of the doctors really, but there's a core group of them. I think that anybody feels close to specific people just because they make that connection with that person and maybe they just are on their level. And she's just very easygoing, easy to talk to. I remember writing a list of all of the people that I interacted with on a daily basis that made a difference in my life because I wanted to make sure that I could talk to our daughter about the experience and say, these are the people that helped you through this experience.
And the nurses would reassure me, like, your daughter's stronger than you think. And I was like, yeah, but I'm not. So I was like, this is crazy. So they really, the nurses at Evergreen really assured me that everything was going to be okay.
And everybody has their own reason for going into this field, but I know that, everyone who does this is really right there with the baby and the families through every step of the way. And when a baby's having a hard time, they go home in tears, they worry, they stress alongside the families, and they create these incredible bonds with the families and the babies. The nurses, day in and day out, and the respiratory therapists are working so hard, caring for the babies, caring for the families, and they form these lifelong bonds sometimes, as these families are getting better and the babies are getting stronger. It's incredible to see.
And I remember being so worried, and I would walk by that wall and look at these babies that, 24 weeks, 25 weeks, 1 pound, 9 ounce, 2 pounds, 1 ounce, whatever. And seeing, a couple years later, their picture on the wall. And for that, that gave me hope. And I knew she would be up there one day.
We walk across that, by that wall all the time, and we see these beautiful smiling faces at us. But I think after a while, sometimes we forget that it's there. And then we have another new NICU family who is so scared and so stressed at everything they're going through. And they walk past that wall and I see them stop. And they stop and they look at each of those pictures, they read each of those little stories, and it gives them hope. And that's also the most important thing about that wall, is that they know that they're babies that have come through so much and graduate from the NICU and go to lead incredible lives and, and have recovered from so much. And that gives them hope to keep going with their little ones, and it makes a huge difference.
I wouldn't have changed any of it. I wouldn't have changed any of it because, she's perfect. She's absolutely perfect.